It's a cold day here. I'm cutting out my exercise so you guys can join me. Take a break, I guess. Doing some stretching. We got my ankle weights on. Doing some pitch and catch by myself. Weighted ball. I think school's out or something. So you program your mind and body to remember the things that it used to do. Fake it till you make it kind of stuff. Some of it comes back to life. Some of it doesn't. That's one I've been working on a long time. Trying to get that leg to come around and follow through. Oh boy, it's cold and windy. You don't hear it because we're still recording. Go 80 minutes with the recording and then not hit the record button. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I use that ball to we got any bets on when I drop the phone? Got me some mix going. Practicing my turns, follow throughs, my overhead smashes and ping pong. Trying to connect the tendons. It's all a matter of connections. Same thing right, left-handed. One of my therapists told me to do a backhand tennis ball type of a swing. Or when you run to get the tennis ball and just plant and go over the top with it to get all this core to work together. And it really does help. Best one I've done in a while. These weights help too. They help help me sometimes, these ankle weights. Well, it strengthens me, but then again, it gives me extra carry on my exercises, so that, let's say I go ahead and get a follow through to come through, I get that extra momentum in the end of the stride or in the walk. Oh my gosh, my legs are burning tight today. I had my Monday workout, which is sometimes takes me all week just to get over. I need to get in there and get those overalls on. Too cold for my legs out here, even though I got skins on underneath my skins. Couple days before Christmas. Couple days before Christmas. And Mom's birthday's on the 18th. And usually, she's been passed away since 6 years ago. But her birthday was a monumental date for me, being that I wanted to take my first step. I wanted to take one step after this disaster And I picked her birthday to give me enough time to try to do it. It was a couple months out of the way. But I had one leg that was completely, totally destroyed. My best leg, totally destroyed. And completely out of function. Except for 3 toes in my feet, or in my foot. There was only 3 toes that kind of functioned. They could bend a little bit. But other than that, that entire leg was just like if you had cut it off at the groin where it comes up and around. I think the butt cheek also was it was kind of tender. I think I could start feeling there right above I could get feeling here. And then up in here was all kind of deadish. Oh, they put a device in me that they shouldn't have put in there. A battery about the size of that. They put a battery in there to try to send signals to a certain area in the spine to block out pain signals. And I was stupid enough to not do it. But I had no choice, because when you're in so much pain, you'll try just about whatever they refer. They wouldn't, at the time it was a big opiate scare. Everybody was scared to ride any opiates because the drug heads and pill clinics destroyed the ability for the real people that needed it for pain, who had bolts in their back already. I had 6 bolts in there, 2 bone inserts and a cage already in my back, and had previously been on opiates before. It's a real hell of a story. I'd probably be sitting here for 2 or 3 days telling it to you. Yeah, I come back from Tennessee, and for a year or so, got insurance. Still being denied any of my benefits, even with bolts in my back, even with all that. Even meeting every qualification, still didn't have any income. Couldn't make any income. Then when you get your reputation destroyed because you have a medical condition, you get fired from the state because you won't resign due to medical conditions. I learned the word wrongful termination. I had business law in college. And my professor was actually a judge, retired or something. And he was one of the hardest teachers I ever had. Business law, the book was about that thick. Yeah, with cases. You had to study cases, and each week you had tests. Then you'd have semi-semesters. Then you had finals. And the final was over everything. Anyway, wrongful termination. Been there 10 years, Secretary of State. And had a medical leave that was still approved. Anyway, that's another story. It's unbelievable. Media won't report it because it's in Illinois. They don't want to look bad. My union wouldn't do anything. It's that big one that come up in Chicago that supported somebody that got sent to prison. In this state. So anyway, the union didn't help me at all. EISU, one of that, the big one, you know, the big one that's supposed to represent big, powerful union. I ought to call them up and say, hey, you about time to report this one? Let me write a book and publish it first. Maybe somebody can be aware of it besides the public, or you besides the public. So, back to my story. My limb was completely gone when I woke up after this surgery. We got people coming. So, where you want to go? So that entire leg was completely severed. I was in ICU for 2 or 3 days. I had hypersensitivity. There was a wire stuck to t9 and t10, and the battery is the size of this. So anyway, it had moved, the wire, and so they had to go back in because they wouldn't do an x-ray on the follow-up. That pissed me off. I go to the follow-up after this surgery, and I said, something ain't right. He decreases my medicine, my pain medicine, refused to listen to me, and then sends me back home acting like I was not in any pain or nothing was wrong. So a week later, Dr. Sachiva at SIU Clinic not like I was wanting opiates. I said, this medication is not working at all. It's worse than what I had before the operation. So for about a week there, I suffered through it at home, and my brother-in-law, I talked with Nevro, and we changed different modes and things, and nothing was working. And started getting heart attacks, or heart sensations. And brother-in-law said, you better go to the hospital. I went to the other hospital. They took an x-ray, and they noticed that that wire had moved out of place, which if that doctor would have done a follow-up, he would have seen that. So anyway, they sent it up, and oh, guess what? Within a week, I'm going to be having surgery. So they scheduled me with same-day surgery a week later, and hell, I didn't think that was going to happen, you know. Hell, go up there and have them put it back into place, and I'd already had a hole in there and a hole in my other back with a battery in it, so go up there, get in there about 1 o'clock, and then next thing I do, I wake up after surgery, and I'm screaming, and they can't get me. They can't get me settled down, and I was so hypersensitive, it's unbelievable. It was off the pain scale, the worst you've ever had pain. I've only had, I had that once in December 29th of 2003. December 29th and December 30th of 2003. I don't think anybody could ever have beaten the pain aspect that I went through. So, luckily, no, that's wrong. So, there's another one, November, October 10, 17, 18. That date. And then 2 or 3 days after, when I was in ICU, and they're shooting me up with morphine and fentanyl. They can't get me calmed down. You know, I really didn't care about the leg being totally, you know, the leg being gone. that I didn't feel the leg at all. I didn't care about that. Let's say if you smash your finger in the door, you really don't give a heck about your whole leg, right? You know, when your finger's getting smashed in a door, you're not concerned about your leg being dead. So imagine that all over. So that's crazy. They stick needles in me. Can you feel that? Can you feel that? Never did tell me what the hell happened. In fact, he had told my acquaintance that he thought the surgery had went pretty good, that everything looked okay and went all right before I'd woken up. So he thought he'd done whatever he'd done was fine. So did this battery shock T9 and T10 area in the spinal cord area? Did it have a backflow of charge possible through the suture equipment or the tools that was grounded probably? Nevro not tell him to make sure that patient has a zero charge on that battery? Did Nevro even give a shit about how much of a charge is on that battery? Does Nevro have any idea about a back charge through that wire into that spinal cord, through that battery when they have to move it? Any of that going on with a company that's probably net value of about $1 billion? Is any technical aspect of how to care for a patient through their devices that were not FDA approved? Forced to have this surgery because you won't give me opiates. Medical marijuana was barely approved yet. I think it was barely approved. And you got to pay a fee. Anyway. Two months. 3 months. I mean, that leg was dead. Finally, they got me calmed down after a week or two. My insurance is called Medicaid, not Medicare. They ask you if it's about care. You know it's not that insurance if care is in the word. It's CAID, not care. Yeah, that's a good way to remember it. Used to have a hard time remembering if it's Medicare or Medicaid is what I'm on. But it's Medicaid. See, I'm still not qualified as disabled. Even though I put $50,000 into the FICA in a fund for disability insurance, the legislative persons forgot about the grandpa clause, or the grandma clause, to allow people like me to be able to get that disability if we outlast their time requirements and don't kill ourselves or don't die in the meantime. Because most of the time, if you don't have any money for 10 years and you're in tremendous pain, you're going to either die, you're going to kill yourself, or your family's going to probably shoot you. You might end up on the streets or be streetless after you sell all your assets and incomes, live in your neighbor's driveway, park your van next to somewhere where it's warm, or sometimes you have to park your van in a church parking lot. Who lets you be able to at least have a good night's sleep, sleeping in their parking lot? Thank you, Knoxville churches. No, you lose everything. Twice over, 3 times over. Oh, when I was wrongfully terminated and said I was disabled, I can't work anymore at the state, Well, you'd think then, you know, you'd get approved for disability through the federal government. No, you're denied. And then, you know, you take it to the Supreme Court. You have to wait 4 years and get the judge, a Supreme Court judge in Illinois, and then you think that's when you're going to get a fair trial, and for some reason or another, he denies you. So you have to appeal that again and go through the same process for 3 years again. I never seen anything like it. Yet some of my friends who are on disability are making $500 more than me a month. Got all their refunds back. They can actually make part-time money doing part-time jobs. Not us guys. We're fixed on income. We're regulated. We're audited because of they're providing shelter for us. They want to audit us all the time and keep us at a fixed price. And so the disabled are classified into the SSI group. The SSI group, I guess, are people that didn't work into the system, or some people like me who they just don't want to pay out as much, and they say you're SSI. So anyway, I'm done with the topic. I got to get to walking and get my warm clothes on. Done enough gabbing. You have a good day. God bless.